Okay, so Nidra's going to be starting the recording now. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our virtual Open Enrollment Fair session. During today's session, we will go over MetLife insurance benefits. Before we get started, I would just like to brief everybody on a couple of housekeeping items. First of all attendees are muted and will be muted throughout the presentation. However, if you have a question, you can type it in the Q&A box located on the bottom of your monitor. All questions will be answered at the end of the presentation, and hopefully most of your questions will be answered during the presentation, but there will be that opportunity at the end to ask questions. Please be informed that if you type a question in the Q&A box, everyone attending this session will not see your question or your name. If you have a question that is confidential, please contact the Benefits Division after today's meeting. Lastly, today's webinar is being recorded. A copy will be uploaded on the Benefits Open Enrollment website later this month, and it'll remain available throughout open enrollment for employees to access. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to our presenter from MetLife, Peter Crosby.
Good morning. Thank you very much. And thank you everybody for coming to the voluntary insurance benefits meeting for the life insurance today. It's a pleasure to have you. I'll be answering your chat questions following the presentation. Hopefully it will be informative for you. We're going to look at life insurance today, and we're going to talk about some key features that they're built in. There's a wide range of options to fit your needs, so there's a lot of choice built in these programs. Your beneficiary receives the death benefits. God forbid someone passes away, is tax-free. Underwriting requirements are waived if you're a brand newly eligible employee, and there are competitive rates, payroll deduction, and of course portability with the different life insurance plans available. You do have basic life insurance that's employer paid, which is nice. So employees for the life and AD&D coverage, depending on the class of employee, is $10,000 for class one. And then you can see it's either one or two times your basic annual earnings for class two, and class is one time your basic annual earnings. Class three is two times, and class five is two times your basic annual earnings. Accelerated death benefit option is up to $7,500. All other classes are up to $500,000. The minimum benefit for class one is $10,000, and all other classes is $50,000. And the maximum benefit for the basic AD&D coverage, $10,000, and then all other classes up to $1 million under those coverages there. The supplemental life is nice because you have the option to buy up additional life insurance. If you're a brand new employee and this is your first eligibility, you do get a guaranteed issue up to 3 times your annual salary. If you're an existing employee and you want to add more coverage, or you have coverage, you want to add your spouse or dependents, you can do that. You can go up to 1 to 6 times your basic annual earnings, up to $2 million, but there is going to be a statement of health required on all changes at this time. If you're an existing employee and you want to now add coverage, or you want to increase coverage or add spouse or dependents, and statement of health can be found online that will be filled out. It's a variety of questions regarding your health. So that's there for the supplemental life. And the voluntary AD&D coverage, 1 to 3 times your basic annual earnings. Spouse is 50% coverage for that. Spouse and domestic partners, 60% coverage amount, and then dependent children is 25% of your basic amount. The maximum for the employee life and AD&D is up to $1 million coverage for those programs respectively. We do have choosing the right amount. You can see there's a website here. So to help you determine how much coverage it is that you need for you and your family, you can go to MetLifeEasier.com, And then there'll be a variety of different things there that you can fill in to help you determine how much coverage is right for you and your family, because we want you to be comfortable with those amounts that you do choose. They are also portable if you were to leave the county. Let's see, this is not going to my, there we go. So there's a lot of advantages that come along with the MetLife. So the basic MetLife coverage that you have now, that's going to have grief counseling, beneficiary grief counseling, and a total control account to be able to help you in the event that somebody passes away or you pass away. Your beneficiaries would have those available. Under the voluntary and the buy-up supplemental coverage, it comes along with face-to-face will preparation. So one of the most important things for you to do is have a will, living will, or what have you, and that's something that's included in the additional buy-up life insurance. There's estate resolution, and then there's funeral planning services, coverage for active and retired employees, and services for workplace transitions, and portability and conversion. So there's a lot of really great advantages that you get with your MetLife life insurance programs, with the basic life and then of course the buy-up life insurance. We also have a personal financial profile available, which people have really liked having access to this. You can use the little scan code there on the screen to be able to get that, or you can get it from the MyBenefits or MetLife.com, your online portal through the county. And what this is, it's a program that will allow you to put in all of your personal information so that if something were to happen, you'd have a record of all of these things in one place. Things like your place of birth, spouse, identification numbers, your insurance information, your life and health and homeowners, it all goes in this particular program. Personal advisors, doctors, attorneys, banks, financial partners. It's a place where your loved ones could go and pull it out of a file and say, oh gosh, here's all the information that we need. Where are your assets? Who do you owe money to? Liabilities, credit cards, digital life, social media subscriptions, all of those things, important documents, wills. It tells where all of that's at. So it's a very, very good personal financial profile tool to be able to have on hand that lets others in your family know where all these things can be found. And if you want to scan that code, now you can bring that up. You can also access all of these things from the MyBenefits site. So you go to MyBenefits and then you go into the County of San Diego and you'll be able to log in to that information there and get all of these tools, benefit information, there's self-service features. You can also go online and change your beneficiary. So if you're going to need to designate a beneficiary, you would go to the MetLife.com portal for the employees and you would log in, and then you'd be able to go in and change and update your beneficiaries. So that's something good to do each year. If people that had changes in their beneficiaries, maybe kids are now over 18 and you want them to be contingents, or if somebody's unfortunately divorced or something. So open enrollment September 26th through October 20th. And so you can access the 1-800-GET-MET-8 Monday through Friday for questions or concerns, or you can certainly reach out to your human resource department, at any time. I'm sure they would be happy to also assist you. With that, I'm going to stop the screen sharing and check on the chat here to be sure if there's any questions I can assist with. I'm trying to get this back to where I can see the chat. For whatever reason, it's not wanting to let me go back.
I have the chat open and I can help share questions, Peter.
Okay, here we
So,
go. I got it back now.
oh,
I'm here.
good. Okay. So
Yep.
this is a great time for people to ask questions. Are you able to see the first question there?
Let's see here.
And I can read it if you'd like.
Yeah, I don't see any questions on my chat.
Okay. So the first question is, can you talk more about the planning services benefit? Is it that we just call as a member and MetLife will help us, or do employees need to provide specific information in order to get help with that?
Planning services in terms of that personal profile that we were talking about, or the planning services in terms of how much life insurance it is that you might need? Or is it for the estate planning services? If it's for the estate planning services and you wanted to get a living will or a trust or something
Oh,
like that set up?
sorry, and I'm sorry, let me just, for the person who's typing, if you could actually type what it is that you would like, because your responses are not exactly coming through at the same time. Got it. Thank you. So the question is about the estate planning services. And thank you to the employee for clarifying that.
Yeah, so for the estate planning services, you'd be able to access that through the MyBenefits portal. And they do have assistance there. And they do have in-person for meeting with an attorney to get a will or a living trust set up for yourself through the MetLife programs. For the supplemental life is how you'd access it. So the estate planning services are going to be for individuals that have purchased the additional supplemental life insurance. It's very nice because they will actually cover the cost of you getting a will or a living trust put together for you and your family, if you don't already have that. So that's a big advantage. And I'm not sure why I'm not seeing any of the questions on my chat over here. Thank you for helping with that.
Oh, sure. We do have some more questions come in, so this is great. All right, so one employee says, when you said buy up, does that mean supplemental insurance? So let's answer that question first.
So yes, the additional supplemental, you do get basic life insurance paid for by the county. And so the supplemental life insurance would be a buy-up option where you can choose. It would be the payroll deduction depending on how much coverage. If you're a brand new employee and you've never applied, and this is your first time applying, you would have that guaranteed issue option up to, I believe it was 3 times your annual salary. For the additional coverage now, if you're an existing employee and you want to either raise the amount of coverage you have, or you want to apply now or add spouse or dependents, there is a statement of health that's going to be required for you to be able to make those changes. And it's a pretty easy questionnaire just about your basic health to be sure you're going to be qualified.
Great. All right, and then it looks like we have a couple questions actually about the funeral planning services. So it sounds like the funeral planning services would be included for employees who purchase that supplemental life insurance. And employees are wondering what the funeral planning services include, such as, does that pay for cremation services or other services?
So it's not going to pay for the cost of the actual funeral, but it's going to be like a planning service to help you put the all of the parts together for that situation. So it's an assistance to help with all of the different things that you need to do in planning for that. So you do have your life insurance, of course, and then when those benefits pay, then that would be where the funds would come from that you could use, in that situation for the funeral. But in terms of the funeral planning services itself is designed to help you be able to facilitate all the different things that you need to do to prepare for that.
Great. And I'm not seeing any other questions here. So employees who are participating, this is a great time to get your questions answered. If you have some more questions that you want to type in, The little Q&A is located in the bar down at the bottom of your monitor. And this is a great opportunity to ask an expert from MetLife. Oh, we've got another question coming in. How do we utilize the portability option?
So for the portability option, if you leave the county and you're not on payroll deduction for buy-up life or basic life, then you're going to be given an opportunity once you leave to be able to convert that coverage over and then pay directly to MetLife for that additional coverage. You'll be able to keep it. So that's how that happens for the portability. So you wouldn't need the portability option if you were still an employee. It's for if you retire or change jobs, then you're able to continue the coverages.
Yeah, and just
you can access all that information through the MyBenefits self-service website and go onto the county specific site, and it has a lot of information there. Or if you don't have internet access, you can call the 1-800-GET-MET and let them know you're with the county. You can also access some of that information through your human resource department.
Yeah, we do have a great website on the county's website, and it links to the microsite that MetLife has set up for the county. And then just to expand on that portability option for employees who do leave the county, they automatically receive a packet in the mail after their last day from MetLife. So MetLife does a great job of providing that information directly to employees if they do leave the county. We've got some more good questions coming in from employees. Let's see. I saw a question here asking for the phone number to call if employees are interested in that will planning service. And this would be for employees who are enrolled in the supplemental life insurance. Is there a specific phone number that they should call for that will planning service?
They can access that through the 1-800-GET-MET.
Okay.
And they can also get that information through, again, the MyBenefits, that specific site, to click through there. And then MetLife has a large network of in-network attorneys under their program that they'll connect you with these attorneys. And you'll be able to speak with the attorney, and they'll help you put together your will and your trust. They'll link you with somebody that's in your area, with an attorney close in your area. There's about 130,000, I believe. Maybe not that many, maybe it's, I can't remember the exact number, but there's a lot of different attorneys all around the country that are part of MetLife's plan for attorney services.
That's great. All right, we've got another good question here. An employee is asking, what happens if I want to increase my insurance and after submitting the statement of health, my payment increases and I decide that I do not need it anymore? What are my options?
So if you were to increase your life insurance and then all of a sudden you don't want that coverage any longer, then you'd need to check, I'm guessing, with your human resource department to say that you wanted to cancel or delete that coverage. And then depending on the open enrollment rules and regulations of the county, then that'll determine, at those times when you're able to do that. So to reduce your payroll deduction and not have the coverage any longer would be something that you'd need to work through your human resource department to be able to make those changes.
Yeah, we do offer this option once a year during open enrollment from September 26th to October 20th. And what's great about doing your open enrollment elections, making those elections in PeopleSoft, is that when you submit your elections, you're going to see on your final page, it will list your expected deductions if that coverage that you're applying for is approved. So it'll actually list that for you on your final page so that you can see at that time exactly what your deductions would be. And then if you decide you want to change that, you can actually go back into the open enrollment portal in PeopleSoft, and you can make those changes to your benefit elections as often as you want throughout open enrollment. Just make sure to submit your final decision by October 20th to lock in your choices for 2023. And then if that increase to your supplemental life insurance gets approved for 2023, that premium increase will take place after MetLife has finalized that approval. All right, let's see, we have some more questions here. If my statement of health doesn't qualify me to increase my supplemental insurance, life insurance, can I still purchase increased coverage?
Well, if for some reason they denied your increase because of things in your statement of health, then you wouldn't be able to increase coverage from where you were at. So that's with the statement of health, if there's something that comes up on there that MetLife says, okay, we're not willing to increase your coverage, then you wouldn't be able to raise up your coverage at that time.
Okay, another question coming in about that will and trust planning service. We've got lots of questions about that. You've stirred up some interest in our employees. That's great. It is a nice benefit. This question from an employee says, if I purchase additional supplemental life insurance for 2023, are the MetLife in-network attorney fees for developing a living will or trust completely covered through the year at no additional out-of-pocket cost?
So depending on the level and the type of will and trust, the basic living will and trust or basic will is going to be covered. There are certain court recording document fees that are outside of the attorney fees that are incurred by the employee, but they're not fees from the attorney. They would be like court or city or county recording fees to get your trust set up. But for the will and the trust or changes, though, that would be fully covered by MetLife.
These are great questions. If you have any more questions, please feel free to type them in the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen. Oh, here's a question about the supplemental AD&D coverage. An employee is asking, does the supplemental AD&D, the accidental death and dismemberment coverage, need to be purchased with supplemental life insurance? And as a follow-up, they're also asking if you could explain a little bit more about that AD&D coverage.
So the AD&D coverage, you can purchase that by itself without the life insurance. If you just wanted the supplemental AD&D coverage. And that particular coverage is, again, designed to cover the family for accidental death and dismemberment. So it's another form of protection in addition to life insurance. If somebody unfortunately has, God forbid, an accidental death, it adds additional benefit or some type of dismemberment. There are benefits there. So it's an additional protection where sometimes individuals have greater risk depending on their lifestyle or their job for accidental or things of that nature. Hopefully that kind of helps answer that question.
Great, thank you. An employee is asking if you can confirm if that insurance can only be claimed when an accident or death has happened at work.
No, that is for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So it's on the job and off the job benefit. Mm-hmm. Just like the life insurance would be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week as well coverage.
That's a great question, though. We do get that question a lot about if the life insurance only covers people when they are at work. And I forget to include that sometimes in the information that it does cover you all the time, not just if something occurs at work. It's a good question. And I'm not seeing any more questions. Just want to check one more time, see if anybody has some more good questions for us. These have all been great.
This
And
is
I'm sorry,
Tana.
I'm not able to see the questions in the chat.
I'm sorry, was Tana trying to join in there?
Yeah, this is Tana with MetLife. I wanted to just chime in on the will prep and go over the exact documents that are covered. And I put them in the chat too, under the answered area. It covers updating of will documents, including complex wills and codicils, creation of power of attorney documents, and creation of living wills / advanced directive documents. So just in case someone's looking for something very specific, you do just need to be covered on the supplemental life, whether for the minimum amount, maximum, whatever. So it's a great benefit. No deductibles, co-pays, co-insurance. You just call MetLife and let them help you find an in-network attorney.
Thank you, Tana.
Thanks for posting that, Tana. That's great information. We've got a few more questions here. An employee says, one more question on the AD&D. If the statement of health is denied, will I still get the basic supplemental insurance when I first enrolled? Oh, I may have misunderstood their question. I'm not sure if they were asking about additional AD&D, which doesn't require statement of health, or if they're just asking about their supplemental life. So I'm sorry, let me read this again. Going back to the question about purchasing additional, if the statement of health was denied, will I still get the basic supplemental insurance when I first enrolled? So maybe they're asking if they already have supplemental life insurance, let's say at 1 times their salary, and they apply to increase it to 6 times their salary, and it gets denied, would their original supplemental life insurance at 1 times their salary still remain in force?
Yes, yeah, the original coverage that they already have, that they've been approved for, that they're covered with, would stay in force, yes. Mhm. And then they also would have their basic life that's paid for by the county.
Great, thank you. Hopefully I understood the question right from that employee. If not, please type me another question. I'll try to get it better. Let's see, we have another question about AD&D, if it covers any accidents, and they want to clarify that it would also cover work accidents.
It does cover for most all accidents. Trying to think of any that would not be covered. And I believe there's a list of a couple exclusions, and I'd have to check that list. I think that would be something you can find online under the MetLife MyBenefits there. So I'm trying to remember off the top of my head if there are any. Do you have that information, Tina?
I am looking right now. Let's see. So we can give you some. So it's going to be things like loss. Let's see. Of course, loss of life. When you get into loss of sight, loss of thumb and index finger of same hand, loss of speech, loss of hearing, paralysis of both arms and legs. You see coma. There's a coma benefit. I forgot about that. This isn't going to be like if you're thinking about an accident policy where you're playing sports and you trip and fall and maybe sprain your ankle, things like that. Very different. Very different.
Yeah, but are there exclusions? I was trying to find the list of if there's any exclusions under the AD&D, Tana.
Under the AD&D for like
let's say somebody is committing a felony.
Exactly. I thought that's where you're going. Yeah, if you're intoxicated, creating it's due to a felony. Let me look here. Hold on. I'm going to put you on mute and look if y'all want to go ahead.
So there's a couple of things, so like somebody's, accidentally pass away, gets killed from like they're committing a felony, or they're, legally intoxicated. There's a few different disclaimers for the accidental death. And we can get you a list of that through there. Tana would be able to provide us that list for human resources that can be shown to the employees.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're all listed in the certificate, which is out on MyBenefits too. Let's see, of course, intentionally self-inflicted injury would be excluded. If there was an accident, obviously accident. Travel in an aircraft for the purpose of parachuting or otherwise exiting from such aircraft while it's in flight. You can't be a test pilot and claim excluded for any military authority. If you leave the Earth's atmosphere is excluded. So, some people are taking those trips,
For most things that people are normally doing, though, it's a very
Right.
comprehensive coverage. God forbid something happens driving in your car with your family, or you're on
Right.
vacation, or something like that happens. Something happens. For most things, people are going to be covered on a
Yeah.
regular basis.
I'll tell you, if you look at the certificate, they're listed on pages 71 and 72. Yeah, of course, like you said, intoxication's listed on here, things like that.
Great questions, though.
Okay, we've got a question about the statement of health, returning to the statement of health that's required for supplemental life insurance. An employee is asking about denial of coverage due to COVID, specifically, like if an employee has been sick and has long haulers COVID, if that's a reason for denial with the statement of health.
So I wouldn't be able to say whether that's a reason for denial or not. That's going to be something you're going to need to take up with Human Resources and have Human Resources get directly with MetLife after on a personal level to see if that's something that would be excluded or not. So I don't have that information right now. Tana, do you know? Have you heard if that's something that is going to be?
Ask me again. I was answering a chat. Go ahead.
The question was, if somebody has COVID or long haul COVID and they want to increase their life insurance, is that can be a reason that it would be denied?
No, not automatically. No.
Great. Okay. And then also just want to clarify that Human Resources does not actually receive the statements of health. Those are reviewed independently at MetLife. We never receive any of that information. That is completely confidential. And those decisions are maintained at 100% by MetLife. All right, moving on here. An employee is asking, when I retire, can I continue the supplemental life and supplemental AD&D coverage through MetLife?
Yes, those are designed to be able to be portable, and you can continue them after leaving the county. You can also continue your basic life.
You just need to call within 30 days of your last day at work and ask us about your options.
Okay, an employee is asking, how would my beneficiaries know to ask about AD&D benefits? And I may answer this one, Peter, if it's okay with you.
Sure.
Okay, so this is a great question for all of our employees who are active employees. If we're notified here in Human Resources that an employee has passed away, we automatically initiate a life insurance claim with MetLife because all employees get that basic life insurance and AD&D coverage that's paid for by the county. Plus, you may have additional supplemental life insurance or that supplemental AD&D coverage. So when we're notified that employee has passed away, we initiate that life claim for your beneficiaries with MetLife. And then MetLife reaches out to your beneficiaries directly to complete and finalize that process and get them paid. They go through the process of reviewing the death certificate to determine if that additional AD&D coverage may be applicable. That's part of their automatic process. So I think that's a great question. And if you have any other questions about that, please type them in the chat or feel free to reach out to us here in Human Resources. Okay, an employee is asking, where can I find something in print to explain the benefits of supplemental insurance and AD&D coverage?
So that's going to be on the MyBenefits website. You're going to go into MyBenefits and then go into the county specific site, and they'll have all that information listed there for you to be able to review and brush up on all of the particulars for the basic life, the supplemental life, and the basic AD&D and the supplemental AD&D for you and your family.
Yeah, so if you're on the county benefits website, there's a section there for your MetLife life insurance benefits, and there is a link there to that special microsite that MetLife has set up, and it has all of these documents that Peter and Tana have been referring to. They're all available there for employees. So it's got all the information about your coverage and lots of details, some overviews and also some lengthier details too, if that's what you're looking for. So there's lots of good information as well as great contact information for MetLife's team.
So the other thing is, if you use the financial planning tool that we had showed you, where you can put down all of your different information about all of your life insurance, banking, all your financial profile. That was one of the slides that we had talked about, the personal planner, then all that information would be in one place for your loved ones. God forbid something would happen with you. They could go to your file, pull that out, and they'd have all of that information in one place. It's a very nice tool to have for families. That's your personal financial profile that we had discussed. There was a little scan, barcode scan, where you're able to pull that down. It's also available under the MyBenefits website for the county.
Great. All right. An employee is asking, what happens if my beneficiaries do not respond when I pass away, or if they are also deceased?
So if you have a contingent beneficiary, so that's when you're going to put down who you want your primary beneficiaries to be, and then you're going to have a contingent beneficiary. So if something happens and the primary beneficiaries and the contingent beneficiaries pass away, then of course the city would have already filed the claim or started that process with MetLife because of the basic life. And then what would happen is, if there are no beneficiaries there, then that would go to your estate, I'm guessing, or your will or your trust would then dictate what would happen with those life benefits or those AD&D benefits. So I recommend everybody go on and be sure that your beneficiaries are updated the way that you would like them, that you have your primary and your contingent beneficiaries set up the way that you'd like them. And it's a good time to remember to do that at open enrollment.
Okay, an employee is asking about the funeral planning. Will the assistance include information on where to purchase services and coffins?
Yeah, they're going to be able to assist you for those types of things as to, in your area, where you would be able to access those specific types of services and help you to plan for that. They won't help you specifically pick the things that you want, but they can help direct you to make that a little bit easier for you so you know where you can look for those services. Other questions coming in?
We've had some great questions here. And Peter, just so you know too, several employees have typed in thank you notes to you to say thanks for answering their questions.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Okay, if you have any more questions for Peter Crosby from MetLife, please type them in the Q&A. The bar is down at the bottom of your screen. You're getting more thank yous.
Life insurance is a very important family benefit, and it's something, you know, that is very, very good to have for family security. You have a lot of great options through the county.
I hope we didn't miss anyone's questions. I saw Tana was doing a great job of trying to answer some questions directly too. If anyone's question didn't get answered and you want to type it in now, just in case we missed you, please feel free. I'm not seeing anything else coming in. All right, so I think we may go ahead and wrap it up then. I want to thank Peter Crosby and Tana Brown from MetLife for joining us today. This concludes our MetLife webinar. Thanks again to all of our employees for joining us, and have a great day, everybody.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. And you know, be sure you pay close attention to all of your details for your life insurance and your beneficiaries during your open enrollment time, and get the things taken care of that you need for the next coming year.